The film Fury is set during the final days of World War II in 1945. At this time, Allied forces were advancing deep into Nazi Germany. In a desperate move, Adolf Hitler issued a total mobilization order, drafting even women and children into the war effort. Amid the chaos of a battlefield in Germany, a man appears. He eliminates a Nazi soldier with precision and then gently releases a horse, freeing it from its harness. This man is none other than Staff Sergeant Don Collier, known by his comrades as War Daddy. Don is the fearless commander of an M4 Sherman tank named Fury, leading a close-knit crew of 4 battle-hardened soldiers. Together, they have survived countless life-and-death encounters. However, after a devastating assault by Nazi forces, their tank is the only one left operational in their division. The Second World War battlefield was not only brutal, but also inherently unfair. German tanks far outmatched those of the Allies in both technology and firepower. Don's team was no exception to the cost of war. Their experienced driver was killed in action. Grief and despair cast a heavy shadow over the unit, leaving an air of mourning and exhaustion. Despite his seemingly unshakable exterior, Don struggles to cope with the loss of his comrades. Yet, he buries his pain, determined to lead his team through the relentless trials ahead. A replacement driver arrives. Norman Ellison, a young recruit whose only prior experience was as a typist, and who had never even set foot inside a tank. When Norman meets his fellow tank mates, known by their nicknames Bible, Gordo, and Coon-Ass, he asks an innocent question: "Where are the enemies?"
Which way is the front?
The reply comes laced with grim reality. This is their land. The enemy is everywhere. As Norman adjusts, the crew rummages through his belongings, pulling out a journal. Their disappointment is palpable. No cigarettes, no items of use to them. It's clear. Norman is green, unprepared, and a liability. Thrown into the deep end, Norman is assigned to clean the tank's blood-soaked interior. It's a gruesome initiation, and within moments, he is overwhelmed. The horror of seeing mangled remains and the stench of death sends him fleeing outside. Nearby, the horrors of war unfold further. A truck loaded with corpses rolls past, a stark reminder of what lies ahead. The inhumanity of war crushes Norman's expectations, forcing him to confront the brutality he could not have imagined. Amid this chaos, Don notices Norman's hesitation. The young recruit, never having killed before, becomes the subject of Don's next lesson. With a firm demeanor, Don hands Norman a pistol, compelling him to learn to wield it. Killing is not optional here. It is survival. Forging into the inferno. With Norman reluctantly assimilated, the Fury team joins a convoy of Allied tanks on a mission to Baker's Run. As they roll across a devastated countryside, refugees flood the roads, desperate for safety. These civilians, broken and displaced, serve as a haunting backdrop to the soldiers' grim journey. Don, ever the vigilant leader, instructs the crew to remain wary. Among the fleeing villagers could be Nazi soldiers in disguise, ready to strike. But Norman's inexperience leads to hesitation at a critical moment. He spots movement in the bushes, a child with an anti-tank weapon. Unable to pull the trigger, Norman watches helplessly as disaster unfolds. The child fires, destroying the lead tank in a fiery explosion. Screams fill the air as men leap from the wreckage, engulfed in flames. Don swiftly takes control, ending the child's life before further damage can be done. The aftermath is grim, and Don doesn't mince words. Turning to Norman, he coldly says, "I don't care if it's a kid. If you don't kill him, he'll kill you." This brutal lesson cements Norman's understanding. War spares no one. Not children, not soldiers, and certainly not innocents. The journey to Baker's Run with the crew shaken by the recent events. Fury crew gathers at their next stop, a temporary rest point where Don and his men are briefed on their next objective. They must break through enemy lines to rescue trapped Allied soldiers. As the plan unfolds, the team prepares for yet another brutal engagement. Despite their growing camaraderie, tensions simmer within the group. Norman's hesitation is a sore spot for Don. but his older comrades understand the toll this war takes on the uninitiated. They share their own scars, both visible and hidden, hoping to steel the young recruit for what lies ahead. The crew's resilience is tested with every mile forward, and Norman's transformation from a typist to a soldier is far from complete. Yet, in the eyes of his comrades, he represents something rare, a flicker of humanity in the hellish landscape of war. The horrors of war deepen. As the crew of Fury rolls onward, the brutality of war becomes increasingly inescapable. Their path takes them through charred towns and smoldering ruins, where the remnants of human life cling desperately to survival. At one stop, the team encounters a German woman and her younger sister, Emma, hiding in a small apartment. Dawn, fluent in German, speaks gently to the terrified pair, easing the tension in the room. A moment of reprieve follows as Dawn offers them food, a rare act of kindness amid the carnage. Norman, drawn to Emma's innocence, finds a fleeting connection in her presence. For a brief moment, he is reminded of life beyond war. The crew, however, takes this respite as an opportunity for levity. Their jokes are crass and pointed, a defense mechanism against the horrors they endure daily, but the moment is short-lived. Outside, the reality of war looms large. A German artillery strike interrupts their rest, and the crew is thrust back into the fray. In the chaos, Norman's newfound sense of humanity is challenged, as the team witnesses the destruction wrought on civilians, including the loss of the women they had just shared a meal with. An unrelenting advance. The crew receives their next mission to secure a vital crossroads and prevent a Nazi advance. As they prepare, the atmosphere within the tank grows heavier. The loss of comrades and civilians weighs on them, but the mission leaves no room for hesitation. Their journey brings them face to face with a German Tiger tank, a mechanical behemoth superior in every way to the Allies' Shermans. The battle is swift and devastating. One by one, the Allied tanks fall, consumed by the Tiger's overwhelming firepower. Dawn orders a desperate maneuver, splitting the remaining Shermans to flank the Tiger, but the losses continue to mount. Finally, through sheer grit and coordination, the Fury crew manages to exploit a weakness in the Tiger's armor, destroying it. Their victory is pyrrhic. The cost in lives and morale is staggering. As the crew watches the burning wreckage of the Tiger, the silence is deafening. Norman, shaken but resolute, hears Dawn's somber words. "This is the best you'll ever feel in war. It only gets worse from here." The final stand. Arriving at the crossroads, the Fury crew finds themselves alone. Their tank is immobilized after striking a mine, and their options are grim. Scouts report an entire battalion of German soldiers marching toward them. Dawn makes a decision. They will stay and hold the line, regardless of the odds. The crew, initially hesitant, rallies behind Dawn. Together, they prepare their final stand. Ammunition is counted, weapons are checked, and bodies are fortified with grim determination. In the calm before the storm, Dawn and his men share a moment of camaraderie, knowing full well that it might be their last. As the German forces close in, the Fury crew unleashes hell. With every shot fired, they repel wave after wave of attackers, but the numbers are overwhelming. One by one, the crew falls, each man giving his life to protect the mission and their brothers in arms. A sole survivor. Norman, the last remaining crew member, hides beneath the tank as the German forces sweep the area. A young German soldier spots him, but, in a rare act of mercy, pretends not to see him. As dawn breaks, Allied forces arrive to find Norman alive, battered but unbroken. Climbing back into the tank, Norman takes one last look at the crew who became his family. The tank, riddled with bullets and shrouded in smoke, stands as a symbol of their sacrifice. As Allied forces secure the area, they find Norman sitting beside the tank, staring into the horizon. Soldiers approach him cautiously, recognizing the haunted look of a man who has seen too much. One of them calls him a hero, but Norman's silence speaks louder than words. He knows the cost of survival, and it weighs heavily on his soul. A symbol of resilience. The tank Fury becomes more than just a vehicle. It is a testament to the bond shared by its crew and the unimaginable sacrifices they made. For Norman, it represents the transformation he underwent and the lessons he learned from Don and the others. As the Allied troops move forward, leaving the crossroads behind, Norman is transported away in an ambulance. Through the back window, he catches one last glimpse of the tank and his fallen comrades, their legacy forever a part of him. The story of Fury is not just one of combat, but a haunting exploration of humanity amidst the horrors of war. It delves into the bonds forged in the crucible of battle, the moral compromises made for survival, and the lasting impact on those who endure its trials. Norman's journey from a typist to a battle-hardened soldier mirrors the universal experience of war, the loss of innocence, the questioning of morality, and the struggle to retain one's humanity. As the film concludes, it leaves the viewer with a sobering truth. In war, there are no true victors, only survivors, burdened by the weight of what they've endured. The image of the tank Fury, surrounded by the wreckage of battle, stands as a stark reminder of the price paid for freedom.